Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another podcast. We're here with the crew.
Hey.
That
Joey
was
copied.
weird.
Yeah, Joey copied me. Yes.
Yeah, Joey's a little copycat. So, welcome to our video. Before we get started, as always, huge thanks to our patrons over at TCG or patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. As I always say, they're the ones who make things like the podcast completely possible. And as you guys have seen, things like the Force of Will news, and as you'll kind of see with gameplay coming up and different things like that, a lot of cool stuff is coming to the channel that I'm excited about. So huge thanks to our patrons, and if you guys want to support us, we have different goals that we have coming up, including we're almost to our goal to start streaming consistently weekly. We're slowly getting there, just passively, but to get the necessary equipment to make it cool and professional and all that is our goal, our next goal on there. Also, big thanks to Happy Little Hug Factory. If you guys are looking for Forcible singles, sealed product, as well as Caster Chronicles singles and sealed product from the set that just came out Friday. Really awesome stuff. If you guys missed the box openings, those are on our channel. I really like the artwork on this set, especially the star deck. But you can get all that on their website. Just make sure to click the link in the description below so they know we sent you. And yeah, so moving into today. Also, we don't have any today, but we actually have a voicemail thing where you can call and leave a voicemail for us. You just need to call 512-522-4188. Leave a voicemail and about maybe stuff we talked about that you had opinions on, stuff you want to hear us talk about, or things you just have opinions on, or just really any litany of items. Yeah. What you guys thought of Solo, I guess.
Or if an event happened and we didn't cover it the way you wanted to, just anything you think about it. Something to keep in mind when you do call it, though, is going to be a 3-minute period in which you can kind of leave your voicemail. If you exceed it, just keep calling back and extending it, and then I'll clip it all together into one long clip.
Yeah.
Which we've done
so, once again, that's 512-522-4188. So, I want to start the video, or Oscar rather, wants to start with the video with something quite exciting.
I did. Are we talking about the mail?
Yep.
We got some mail the other day. We ordered some stuff that we thought would be fun. And Colin, why don't you let's just jump into it.
Let's just jump right into it. All right.
I asked Colin the other day what he would do if we got a cease and desist order for using that line over and over again. But go ahead, Colin.
All right. Quiet on set. Excited for mail day today.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what we got.
What do we get, Ward? What do you think we got? I agree.
2 jewel cases, Colin.
2 jewel cases. He got a lot of different cards. He got, I think, play sets of CMF.
I like Dark Revolution.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize you got Dark Revolution also. What else you get?
I got Dark Revolution.
Oh.
And another one.
Okay.
That's how many I got.
That's cool, I guess. That's good.
This is such a good video, right?
What'd you get in the second case, then?
Dark Revolution?
Hold on, we gotta see what's in the second case. I don't think it's all Dark Revolution. I don't think that could be.
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, look at that. More Dark Revolution.
What?
How many did we order, Colin? And why?
How many did we order, Oscar?
I think 144.
144?
Oh,
and we did it for the memes, Oscar.
What? How's this a meme?
Cause there's more than one of them. So that was that.
So the story behind this, I told Colin and one of our guys from our locals about this find, about how cheap these things were. And I was like, yeah, I almost bought them all, but I was like, nah. And they're like, dude, you should do it. Yeah, do it. So they talked me into it. And then after I did it, I was like, God, I feel like I just took away from a bunch of people who could have gotten these on the cheap. I feel so bad. So yeah, that's why I was like, where do we show this video? I feel like such a jerk now.
It was 100% worth it because I was just rewatching that. Yeah, rewatching that video. It was freaking hilarious. Joey, you're back, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this video?
I couldn't hear anything.
Well, that's what Colin said. You weren't. From what we're doing
Okay.
to show you guys,
Got it.
we didn't hear it.
I didn't. What was the? I couldn't tell. Was it like promo art? I didn't know what it was.
Promo
It's
Dark
promo
Revolution.
Dark Revolution. And
What card-
you didn't hear
what
it.
card?
It was 144 promo Dark Revolutions.
What card is Dark Revolution?
Put a Resonator from your graveyard into the field.
Oh,
4 cards.
why?
You missed it in the video for the memes.
But Colin, where are we gonna be
these
that we
are
can hand some of these out?
Yeah, so that segues into we should be at Collinsville GP. So if you guys are at that, just come say hi to us, and we'll give you
Yeah.
some fucking promo Dark
For
Revolutions.
come saying, hey guys, watch your channel. You don't even have to say anything beyond that. Like your channel's great.
We'll
And then I'll give you some. I'll just like, here you go. Here's a.
Well, no. Here's what we'll do, Oscar. Is we'll carry dice and we'll roll a dice, and that's how many Dark Revolutions they'll get.
Up to 6.
Up to 6.
So dumb.
But I don't know rules on that at a GP. We'll ask Robert beforehand just to make sure we can hand those out. But
We're
it
sure
should be
we're
okay.
not. So-
It should be
If
fine.
not,
guys.
say hi to us outside of the specific building,
Yeah, we'll hang out outside between rounds.
and we'll
That's
probably
amazing.
be somewhere
I love
eating
that.
food at some point.
Yeah.
I
but,
love that.
yeah, I was pretty happy about that though.
Yeah.
I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Joey, you want to take a guess like how much I spent on this?
$5
Less.
less.
Yeah.
$2.
No, it was just a little bit less. It's not like that. Somewhere in the 480 range.
So what? Like $4.70?
Yeah, probably right around there. Yeah. But
So that was great. That was good. Let us know what you guys think of that. I thought that was great. They had to send 2 jewel cases as well to send them all in.
yeah.
They probably spent more in shipping than like what they made on that or something. But so that was the first segment for today.
One thing I was going to tell
Terrible
Colin that we should do though is, and it kind of goes into one of the topics we're going to talk about today. A lot of you might be coming here from a video recently.
A couple of you might be coming in here.
I think Colin knows the actual count. Colin's been keeping up with the number, right, Colin?
No, you have been. I literally was telling you the numbers because you were in it to keep up with the count.
So about
I
60
haven't
of you
been keeping
guys
up with
have
any
come
of
in
the
here
numbers.
from a specific video recently. I just did the math. And it was that's the wrong number. But anyways, it was
Yeah, that's not right.
yeah, it's not. I already lost my train of thought, guys. You really really gave me a hard time there.
You deserved it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's saying welcome, and I hope you're enjoying this. This is the podcast we do once a week. Sometimes they're complete, BS podcasts. Sometimes we have something to talk about.
They're all BS podcasts.
They're all BS. Our viewers will tell you in the comments below. But I hope you.
No.
enjoy
They're
your stay.
recorded. They're recorded on OBS. Welcome, everyone.
This is
Hope you
this
enjoy
is
this
a First
one.
World podcast, I swear.
But anyways, welcome. We do some gameplay every now and then. We're not really great at it, so we don't do too much of it. It's mostly you're going to get here for the news, the podcast, some spoilers, and what else we do? Epic stories, which is my favorite part.
News.
Stories.
We do epic stories. We do Friday Night Magic.
We don't do that.
You can see,
We do Caster Chronicles. We'll be doing Architects when Architects comes out. But pretty much everything Force
I will be
related.
doing Architects.
We will be getting back into the swing of gameplay. We have like a gameplay almost every week.
Yeah.
Real life gameplay. We'll be having. If you look at our Facebook page, link in the description below, I posted some pictures of our new setup. So we're
Yeah.
going to start making legit professional gameplay videos. So hopefully some more of those will start coming out. They're not going to be. We have more of an emphasis on sort of like the local level of gameplay as far as gameplay goes. So it's not necessarily competitive decks, unless we see a competitive deck we really like and want to mirror and see how it plays against different other decks.
and
But-
our commentary comes from that as well. When you watch these podcasts, it's a casual local level person looking at a competitive event and our opinions on it. On top
That's
of
a good
that,
point.
I was gonna say that we haven't recorded so many games recently, like real life games, and we're going to soon. I think next weekend me and Colin might record a few. But that's only because if you look at the date, like we're like a week away. Like this weekend coming up will be pre-release, so we already have a whole new set of cards coming in that we have to account for to help build decks and go forward from there.
Yeah, like when the new set comes out, we'll have not only gameplay. Well, when the set is released, I think Tuesday or something like that, Thursday, is when I'll start making the full decks. I have a new Panda deck I'll be making, a new Imul deck I'll be making, different things like that. And so deck profiles and gameplay with said decks will all be coming after the new set comes out, because pretty much they would have been relevant for a week or two, and the amount of work to be put into that for a week or two shelf life, it wasn't worth it.
On top of that, Joey does do his little end of spoiler review, kind of going over what he thinks is great or what's going to be great in sealed play, as well as an article to accompany that on our website. You can check out our website, just tcgscrubs.com. Jinx, pinch poke, me coke. But anyways, Joey, right? It's a great article. Top notch.
It's got a lot of work going into it. A lot of things coming in. Yeah, a lot of thought.
On top of that, we will be doing like a video series, kind of like welcoming people to Force of Will that would be released by next cluster, which I'm pumped about.
We're going to be putting a lot into it. It's going to be, I think, a 2 or 3 part video series. Everything you need to know about Force of Will, getting into it, how to play it, background of it. And
to make sure I'm getting all the information right, I'm like working with all sorts of different people, kind of larger people in the community who've been playing longer than even us.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the first part I heard about it.
Yeah.
What about
one part of the
Magic video?
Yeah, one part of that video will be Joey doing his comparison, kind of going from Magic to Force of Will, because some people, terminology-wise at least, and some other rules will want that, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, none of that, I'm backtracking pretty far. So, we made a quick cameo in Negative Legends video this past week.
Yeah.
So in case you guys missed it, you can go to his channel. It's one of the most recent videos, which is called "What Happened to Force of Will," where he goes sort of over the history of Force of Will, what's going on with it. He interviewed different creators, so us, DMO73. Who else was there?
Scribble Sketch and Red Zone Rogue.
Right, that's right. So that was pretty cool. Seeing different people's opinions on different aspects as he went through. He went from Valhalla to not present day. I think he stopped short of Rhea Cluster, kind of. But so there was a bit of a, not necessarily on his channel, I don't think, but in the Facebook US group, at least, there was a mixed reaction to it. You want to go over that, Oscar?
I mean, one of the main ones was kind of like a issue with just some information that may be a little bit off on, and it wasn't like, and I think in my opinion, hugely important on how off the information was. Like, oh, did this card come on this set or that set, and what was the issue for Reflector Fane? Was it here or was it there? Type situations, but
yeah. First off, Oscar really glazed over that. Interesting.
Yeah. I would have liked to hear more about that. I haven't really seen anything about, like, I didn't end up unfortunately watching the video, even though
we've only had access to it for like 2 weeks.
Well, I didn't think I didn't know it was already out, and like I kind of knew, but like I haven't given it a look, and wow.
It's okay. So, you only had one line in it, but
really. Oh.
I guess Oscar's not in the After Dark group, so there's other reactions to it on there.
Oh, was there? First of all, I am in the group, but I unfollowed it because I didn't want to have to read all their stuff that they're doing. So what was some of the stuff in there?
It was stuff regarding, like, if not going over it, sort of criticizing him not going over the most recent stuff, especially the problems with Sherry and Fair and different things like that, and how they thought that he was sort of almost trying to, like, not go over the bad stuff of the game by not going over that stuff, which I thought was completely incorrect, because it felt like he covered the bad stuff of the game pretty thoroughly, especially having Rudy's videos in there. I think covered it pretty thoroughly. But so there's weird stuff like that. I didn't agree with that at all. I felt like he did a pretty good job of covering the bad stuff in the game, which definitely has been a lot of bad stuff.
Oh yeah. But don't worry, when I do my video, it'll cover everything 100%.
Somewhat. But it was pretty good. I enjoyed the video. I thought it was pretty good overall. Like I don't know if that random stuff that like people were saying is wrong, and I don't think it affected the video's point, which is the main thing. So I thought it was pretty good overall.
Some mixed comments that went through, like some people saying, "Oh wow, I missed this. I wish I could play it again," or comments on the opposite side saying, "Well, I'm glad I sold everything I owned from Force of Will and moved on."
Yeah, no, the game's definitely headed in a good direction. As soon as they ban Sherry, I think we'll be in a very good, healthy game state. Not healthy game state, but a healthy-ish game state. And the secondary market has been doing extremely well in Raya Cluster, I think. With the new cluster, if they continue that, all they have to do is have a pretty good power balance of the cards, and that will in turn affect the secondary market and help it. And because it'll encourage people to buy more cards than the ones that are just strong. So you don't have just like 10 cards that are super expensive because people are buying them out. You have a whole plethora of stuff. Different things like that.
Speaking of secondary market, I'm really curious to see where everything goes, especially in this current set of Time Spinning Witch. Because we're at the end of May, so those reprint boxes should be coming out soon for Time Spinning Witch. So you think it's going to affect prices soon?
I think it definitely will. I'm most curious to see how it'll affect ruler pricing. Because I had talked before about what will win out. Will the rulers still stay more expensive than the misprints, or will the misprints in the long run end up being more expensive than the normal print rulers? Especially in light of a second print run coming out where you can get the normal print of the rulers. And that that aspect I'm not sure about. I mean, I'd assume that the misprints will eventually be higher value than the normal prints longer term, but that's hard to say. But overall, I think the prices will stay relatively the same. They might go a little bit cheaper, but it won't be enough to be like, hey, this $10 card is only $2 now. It'll be like, this $10 card is $9 now. I think it'll be a 10% decrease across the board or something like that. But it's overall good because it's not because people are not buying from the secondary markets, because they're buying from sealed boxes, which also helps OGSs and stuff like that.
Right. But
I got really caught up in like looking at YouTube comments and stuff.
So what are your thoughts just looking at those comments?
Through
you got really quiet. I was wondering what you were doing.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about like the Zero Booty scandal, which I hadn't even like, obviously I didn't know it was in the video. A lot of people thinking like, he did a good job on it, which I mean, it looks like a lot of people liked it. Just a lot of people saying like, like in the video, and a couple people saying like, oh, I want to play this game, and like a lot of people saying like, oh, I don't want to play this game, or I read one person saying he went to his LGS, and they said it like no one plays that anymore, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's part of the problem. It isn't even, I think a part of the problem, and this has always been a problem with the company across the board, not just with Force of Will, but also with Caster Chronicles, and I'm going to assume it's going to be a problem with Architects, is for whatever reason, they're terrible at advertising. Like, I don't know why, but...
You know what, so I'm just realizing now you mentioned Caster Chronicles and the advertising, it's making me think about, wasn't there supposed to be more like stuff happening in GPs this year that had to do with Caster Chronicles, but we're not seeing any of that, right? Just straight up Force of Will.
There was supposed to be, at minimum, demo hosting of Caster Chronicles. I didn't see anything outside of that. There was a lot of speculation that there could be, but there's never anything set in stone. And I'd assume they're waiting for this first cluster to be done with, so there's more of a pool to work with.
Yeah.
They're maybe playing it safe. But yeah, they're supposed to be demoing of it. When we were at Richardson, I never checked to see if they had that, and I haven't heard anything from other GPs. I feel like if it was happening, you'd have certain players making fun of it, and I haven't seen any of that. So I'd assume maybe they just never bothered with it.
Probably. On top of that, I wonder if like when Architects is released, like if they would do the same, like actually have the tournament structure for it.
Yeah.
Will it be in GPs?
I don't think Architects will until it turns into a TCG. I think as an LCG, they won't do that. Gosh, it'd be so cool.
Legend of the Five Rings in LCG, but it has competitive play.
Yeah, but I feel like that game died out a little bit. It's not dead, but I feel like compared to the hype that was going into it, I feel like it's not.
And that's comparing on our local level mostly. Like our local level, it did blow up a lot, and then all of a sudden it was just like, you didn't hear about it anymore. I'm even in the groups for it, and it's like every now and then, like, hey, we still meet up in the usual spot. Yeah, it looks like there's like the way we are in Austin is like there's 3 people running it, and we're one of them. It looks like there's only one place running the L5R.
Ah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so I think it would have been super cool to like say we're at Collinsville GP and we drop out or something like that. It'd be cool to be like, oh, this sad event, we only need 4 people. We'll break open a box of casters and do. I don't think sealed actually works with casters, but here's caster starter decks and let's play. Or if you brought a caster's deck, let's play.
I feel like only you would like that, Colin.
I think a lot of people would be a nice way to dip into the game.
I have seen talks of some Epic Story side events though at GPs.
Oh, that'd be so.
And something to keep in mind though is that does mean Valhalla would not be allowed if in a this type of side
that's
event.
fine.
The cool thing about Epic Stories, and I really hope it gets as big as like in the Forceful community as like Commander got in the Magic community, because like people play like Commander games like all like a ton at LGSs. There's like tons of like side events and stuff. Like there's just people like jamming like small multiplayer games, and it always looks so much fun. Like, so I really think it'd be really cool if you start to see like the same kind of like groups joining up and like at like other like GPs and stuff.
Sorry, I think jump in front of you real quick, Con. I think that's happening already. There's been people who have dying locals or are trying to jumpstart locals who are leaning into Epic Stories to help kind of boost it because of how big the card pool is and how you can use crappy cards from Grimm just to make relevant decks. So it's being used to help keep some places alive.
I hope so.
My dog chewed my coin. The cool thing about Epic Stories that I think, and this is my, if you guys are watching this, Epic Stories is super great if you are like not enjoying New Frontiers at the moment, or even Wander, as it turns out, because of Sherry and stuff like that. New Epic Stories is like just open field because the way that's structured with the 6-card deck and 1-ofs and stuff like that. Even if you have a super strong deck with super strong rulers, like Joey was being an asshole with that one ruler and stuff like that, it still doesn't guarantee that you win just because of how the odds of doing different things and all that. And it just opens a lot of fun. It's super fun to play. It's a lot more relaxed, and like Oscar was saying, it uses Grim Cluster, Alice Cluster, Lapis Cluster, Rhea Cluster. It doesn't matter. Any card you've ever owned now suddenly can potentially work on it, and you can use cards that are banned, and the cards that are banned inside of it are doesn't matter anyways and stuff like that. So,
yeah, like me getting Law of Silence isn't as bad as it would have been in a normal New Frontiers or whatever structured deck event. Then it is in Wander in Epic Stories because they have one copy of it.
Speaking of getting frustrated in New Frontiers, I don't know if this would ever get close to like if someone would like start this in Force Will, but there's a new game mode that's gaining traction in Magic called Brawl, I believe, or something like that. And it's basically like Commander Mini, except you can only you choose cards from like Standard and New Frontiers and Force Will, and like it's basically the same idea. Like it's this Commander format, but in Standard. And so I think there's like a handful of rules in Magic. Like it has to be a 3-color deck. Like it has to be singleton. I don't remember if there's an actual commander you need to use, but there's. So like who knows? Maybe we'll see like something like that for people. Like Magic has seen like a lot of like explosive like people playing this like new format that's just like it's really new from what I've been hearing.
I mean, and I saw a bunch of talk about it, not really leaning towards like how people like wanted to play or liked it. But the stuff I watched on YouTube, like they did a series on it, like a small video of them playing within that format. It looks interesting. It's cool. It's the same thing as anything else, but.
Yeah, it could be. Man, I was just thinking because Brawl is this official thing coming out from Magic and stuff like that, and like how cool would it be if like Force was like did something like that for Epic Stories. Yeah. I mean, they still haven't done something for Wander, to be fair, but Epic Stories I feel like would be almost easier for them just to be like, do a fun little thing for Epic Stories
See,
to help with it.
The nice thing about Magic too is that like they started printing cards to support multiplayer formats like that. So like in Force Will's cage, like instead of saying like your opponent, they would change it to like each opponent.
Yeah.
You know, just like there's a lot of like small stuff like that Force Will could do to like support this. You know, I don't know if it'll happen in the next cluster, the next cluster after that, or if it'll ever happen. But yeah.
Well, they could easily do that by printing, for example, a Vingolf, and all of the Vingolf is a bunch of reprints. Not necessarily reprints because they wouldn't be legal, but like say they reprint. I can't think of card off the top of my head, and it's just the same card, but it switches the wording to each opponent or to target opponent. You know, different things like that. They could switch the wording on a whole host of cards, reprint them, send them out, and we give them more money for cards that they've done all the work for. They're just retyping one sentence.
Maybe I feel like at the least they need, like, going forward they can start rewording stuff to work in multiplayer formats like Magic ended up doing.
I mean, they sort of did. They made stuff more. We had noticed this going into, I don't know if it was partway through Lapis or at the beginning of Lapis. They had started rewording cards, so they were more ambiguous on whether they could be used in a 2-player game or a 4-player game versus 2-player and stuff like that. Was something we had noticed. It wasn't as rigid as they used to be.
Like, if they change any cards to say like each opponent, then I'll like 100% agree. Like that's like they're actually trying. They might be trying to like support these multiplayer formats.
Well, I'm not saying they're trying to support it, but I think
player.
They were acknowledging it and somewhat future-proofing cards just in case. Is my point.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you have any examples, or because like I feel like they haven't. Like, they've made things a little clearer in general, but I don't feel like any of it's been aimed towards like a multiplayer thing.
Yeah, but speaking of old sets and new sets,
yes, we had the news the other day that we're going back to Valhalla.
Woo! Dun, dun, dun,
And
dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
pumped.
Yeah,
You guys sound like not as
I'm
pumped as you
so
could be.
excited.
You're not helping,
Nah,
Oscar.
I mean, if it wasn't for the freaking bunny, I'd be even more excited. But you can look at our most recent spoiler video to get our like immediate reactions to it. But yeah, the next cluster, should I say, is going to be taking us back to Valhalla. So if you're new to Force Will, Valhalla was the very first cluster of 3 or 4 sets that were
3.
Three
Starter decks
came
and
out.
sets.
They came out mostly in Japan. They saw a very, very limited release in the U.S. And then and it had random mechanics, had crappy translations, different things like that. But people really liked it. From that point forward, it's transitioned to Grim Cluster, and they ignored from Valhalla from that point forward. Outside of Genesis format and Epic Stories, certain Epic Stories formats. But so we're revisiting that, which I think is very good, not only for like, because we get the next cluster, I've kept saying I feel like is almost could be a fresh start for Force of Will, of them fixing a lot of things, it sounds like. So that's sort of like poetic in a way, but also us getting a chance to actually have Valhalla related cards and items that we can actually use, whereas Valhalla cluster we just straight up couldn't use in Wonder, we couldn't use in any format outside of weird formats. Now we'll finally have, we could play Odin, I guess we could from Vingolf 3, but we can have Loki, we can have Thor, we can have Mjolnir, we can do all this cool Valhalla related things.
Cool interaction that Thor and his hammer had was his hammer was an addition resonator, and you would attach it to you discard it from hand to do something. I think you minus something or destroyed a resonator, and if you had Thor in play, the hammer went from your graveyard back to your hand again, which that was cool.
Yeah, that's so hot.
That's fancy. That's pretty cool.
So
Also lame though.
really excited about that. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play during Valhalla, so I'm really excited to like I like seeing like more of the Valhalla cards in Vingolf 3. Like I didn't actually know they were from Valhalla until like a little bit later when I actually started looking at all the cards from Valhalla for Epic Stories and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, but like, yeah, I mean, I hope we get like I mean, I don't know if we're gonna see like fresh rulers. You know, like there's the bunny who wasn't in the original Valhalla. Like,
Yeah.
and I just like I love all those like Asgardian like lore and mythology is gonna be awesome to like see reprinted in like a fresh coat of paint. You know, so it's gonna be great. I'm really excited.
We had samurais.
Yeah.
What if they reintroduce the break mechanic?
I would not like that actually. Stupid.
But no, there's some cool stuff. Like some characters would be cool to see. Like I didn't really know of her till recently because I built an interesting deck that I'm waiting for a ruler to come in the mail still that will complete this deck, and we can play it in real life and show it. But Kukunochi, who is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If she's in play at the end of the turn, you draw up to 7 cards. I don't think she'll do the same thing, but it'd be cool.
I am interested to see like if they're gonna try and follow along with like old stuff that Valhalla did. So like if they're gonna like make a Chronos ruler that does something similar to Chronos, like how closely they're gonna follow the original like Valhalla cluster.
Yeah, like doing soft reprints of love cards to almost like give us another chance of Valhalla,
or even something just ever so close to what they used to do. Like not direct. I'll just be like super disappointed if it's like, oh, here's Chronos. He you discard a card and he does this and you J activate him and he does this. Completely rewriting them would kind of be slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, with the size of Valhalla sets, they could have just the first set that comes out in Valhalla be like the soft reprint of every single Valhalla card, and then the other 3 sets, are just up in the air of what they want to do.
Something that I'm not really excited for is like it's hard to like drum up excitement when, like, in my opinion, nobody actually played Valhalla.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not
so
the majority
like,
of people, I would say.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like 90% of people I'd say have not even like never touched a Valhalla card, like, and so it's interesting to me that like we're going back to Valhalla because like I'm thinking of like Magic sets where like they just recently went like back to Dominaria and like that was exciting for a ton of people because that was like the very first couple sets or clusters or blocks in Magic, and like a lot of people were excited about that, and so for me it's like,
but how many people actually played that?
A lot of people played
I think if you looked at not numbers but percentage of Magic players who played that and percentage of Force of Will players who played Valhalla, it would be very similar.
No, like
I think it'd be like 5% of Magic.
Dominaria is like until like the 7th set or something. So like there's like I'm pretty sure it's
well.
It's
first off, that's not my fault if you said first couple sets or first cluster and then changed it to the first 7 sets. That's your fault, not mine.
I'm just saying like the amount of people who actually played Dominaria is way bigger than the amount of people who have played Valhalla.
I think that. Oh, jeez. Oh no. My dog just brought me their dog bed, and it definitely is missing most of its fluff.
But anyways,
so I don't know.
Well, Colin's figuring that out.
There's a trail of fluff in the room.
I can see it on the green screen behind you.
Oh.
Anyways, Colin will have chores to do when he gets off. Yeah, no, I mean, it won't be as exciting for a lot of people, but it'd be exciting for quite a few. And I feel like people can get pretty drummed up on our excitement for it as well.
And you don't have to have played it. It's also just like the I don't know the word I'm looking for, but
ambiance.
Yeah, the field around it, the like notoriety of it. Like people who haven't played Valhalla, but they've heard of Valhalla. So even that little bit, seeing Valhalla is like, oh man, that's super cool. It's like people who I'm going short on
people who have watched the most recent Doctor Who's but haven't watched the old Doctor Who's, right, Colin? Like the ambiance of the old Doctor Who's.
Yeah, like if I went to you and you know about actually no, that's the perfect example. So I went to I watched the 9th Doctor was what I start with, the first season of the new series. I have never seen Doctor Who before, but I just vaguely knew what a Dalek looked like and kind of what it sounded like. Just I don't know how or where, but at some point I came across it in my life. So when the episode came out, when it first showed it, I got super hyped and excited. I was like, I know that is one of the main enemies of the Doctor. that's super cool that we're already seeing it. And I just got like super hyped just off of that. And obviously now I'm watching the classic stuff, so I'd be even more hyped now. So if I was one of the people who watch the old stuff, I'd be even more hyped for it. But even if people just heard Valhalla in passing, I think that's still enough for them to get hyped for this set in the same way that I was when I first saw Dalek.
I definitely hope so, because like I do think it has a lot of potential, and I'm hoping it's a really good set.
Yeah,
I do too. Some jokes I thought of pertaining to is like, what if Force of Will dies during this set? It started with Valhalla and ended with Valhalla. And then number 2 was, I told Colin, I was like, what if they're just trying to cut corners and they just use all the old Valhalla artwork for all this new cluster stuff?
that'd be hilarious.
That's
What
system.
What if like Force of Will died in like this set, and so we're going to Valhalla because that's where all the Valkyries die. All right.
So, moving on to the next thing, which was there was a GP.
Yep, GP in Toronto. I believe it had 43, 44 players total.
That's a good amount of players.
Well, something that
we should. I'm just saying, I'm expecting to see a pretty diverse top 8 with that many players.
Oh yeah.
Know what's happening.
And with where it was located, people felt like that's one of the things that kind of hurt it is it was inside of a convention center during some sort of I don't know, comic book convention or anime convention. So you had to buy a ticket to the convention and then go to the event inside the convention.
Okay.
So if you can imagine, Colin, Joey, we've been to PAX South, and imagine that floor where everybody's playing board games and card games and having a GP in the middle of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's already a pain in the butt, I'm sure, on the people who are playing in it at that point because how busy it is and how loud it is. But, yes. So, Colin, you're saying?
No, that was all I was saying. I'm just hoping for a diverse top 8.
Okay. So we don't have a ruler breakdown yet. We don't have any information on this yet. So if you go to our website, maybe I create the post for it, the page. But there's nothing on there yet because we're waiting for the TO to release all the information. We just have little bits and pieces of information here and there. So, top 8 was apparently...
First place? What was first place?
First place? First place, I believe, was Scheherazade.
Okay, what was second place?
Scheherazade.
This is a goddamn mummer's farce right here.
Third place?
Scheherazade.
They're all Sherry.
Yeah, top 8 was Sherry.
No, Joey, you spoiled it.
Specific, I believe it was 4 versions of one color of Sherry and 4 versions of another color alteration of Sherry.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually really funny.
But that's not it. Apparently, they ran out of time at the convention and were kicked out. I'm assuming kicked out. And had to finish up at a Canadian version of a Denny's.
Which is amazing. Like, I love Denny's. I would have loved to fucking play out a top 8 at a Denny's while eating some Hush Puppies. Oh my god.
They have Hush Puppies? Anyways, real quick, time out.
Yeah, that's what they're known for.
They weren't necessarily... I don't consider them known for their Hush Puppies. They weren't kicked out. I should rephrase this. It looks like they finished up Swiss, but I know Alex Landon said that they wanted to go ahead and finish out top 8 for the day because he had to head out, and so they decided to do all top 8 in that day as well, which is where they got cut short, and they moved into the Denny's at that point. Yeah. Now the entertaining part is, and I don't know if we can get any video of this, Blandon was streaming the final match while at that Denny's. And it was just hilarious. And he's sitting there like, oh man, here we are. We're playing it. And he's looking around the restaurant. There's always people just eating and stuff like that. And he's coming back down at there. And at some point, I had trouble hearing him. I took my headset off. But he's like, oh, hey, can I get an order of blah, 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 blah? And they're like, oh, no, yeah, sure, whatever. He's like, okay. And he's looking back at the match again. It was just hilarious watching the live stream of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would have loved to do that. I hope that happens to us. I mean, also, I hope we get in top 8 to do that.
It goes further. I'm just thinking about it even more now that we're looking. He's looking at top 8 play, and as one of the guys, he's looking at the final match. As one of the guys of the final match is playing, you see like his hamburger and fries get served to him right here on the side. And the little play space is crowded because they have all these like utensils and stuff all around them. It cracked me up just looking at it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is such a. Oh, that's so funny.
I love it. We should petition that all future top 8s take place at Denny's, and we should like get a sponsorship through Denny's. Oh, that'd be great. We should reach out to Denny's.
I think it'd be hilarious. Let's just say this game truly comes in a resurgence this next cluster and just comes back, and we have these like 300, 500 man tournaments in the future. and we can be like, man, remember that time we had a finals in a Denny's? That was amazing.
I was about to. I don't want to say it, but I'm saying having the top 8 finals at Denny's is such a fucking shitty like sign of where this card game's going.
To be fair, it has nothing to do with like anything. It sounds like. Other than,
I know. It just sounds.
But
so
it is a good like marker of like if we like gets back to where it was like the low point will be like marked by like playing 8 sherries at a Denny's.
Yep.
Speaking of which,
I'm really hoping like there are like 43 people and I'm really hoping like 38 or like 39 of those were like all sherries. It's like, hey, you guys remember that GP where like 39 out of the 40 people were sherries and all the top 8s were sherries?
Yeah.
Okay.
So speaking of sherry, so top 8 was all sherry.
Yep. So
what are your guys' thoughts?
I put this in my notes just for our topics tonight. Is that clearly there's going to be some aggravation towards Sherry. She's dominating all the events. We did our little chart. Everybody got to see it, and it's just added more Sherrys to that whole list of like topping events and winning. So to me, I was wondering is if they ban it, like go to the extreme, just straight up banning her. Like, what are y'all's thoughts for that? Is that too much? Is that just enough? Like, are we gonna just keep banning rulers left and right that are green? Like, what's gonna come out after that?
First off, we're not banning rulers left and right that are green. We have a ban on Prussia, which is more red than green, I would argue. And we have a ban. We would then have a ban on Sherry, which is 1 green. Reflector Frame is unbanned in Wander.
But it had a ban in New Frontiers. Is the point? Because then technically in a year you could be like, well, technically, Sherry's not banned anymore.
No one would argue that Reflect Refrain was green, though, because literally Reflect Refrain was whatever the hell you wanted it
Listen,
to be.
I'm looking at what color the company printed on the card. I don't care what you consider it inside your heart, Colin, inside your mind. I'm saying, look at the card. What color is on there? Is that green? Then it's green.
This is what Oscar.
No,
this is a rare occurrence of Colin saying like it wasn't Green's problem, it was Reflector Frame's problem.
Well, green was not a problem when Reflector Frame is out. That is the point I'm getting at. Green was 100% not a problem.
Somebody posts all the green cards that are issues while Reflector Frame is a problem. So
no, a big issue. I think red was a bigger issue than green during that time frame.
I'm pretty sure Gwyber was the biggest issue with Reflector Frame back then. Like Alice's World was like Gwyber stuff.
How dare you, slapping you.
Gwyber was a terrible issue.
Anyways, all right, you guys are getting off topic.
Yeah.
As far as what Oscar was asking, I'm super over it. I think we should just ban Sherry. I was considering like banning other cards maybe around her, but I think if you ban Sherry, it doesn't hurt because Rune Story works on its own, Approaching the Truth works on its own, Scarlet's Agony works on its own. There's no harm, no foul there, and you just need to print another ruler that works with Legend for Evil Genie or whatever. But so I think there's less harm than banning like 3 other cards to try and nerf her down into the ground. I think at this point I'm super over it. I think we should just ban Sherry. She dominated both Wander events. She's dominated every New Frontiers event. Now we have a New Frontiers where she just straight up took all top 8. I don't think unless they banned more stories than she's allowed to put in her story side deck, I don't think there's any getting around how strong she is at this point.
I think
especially with the new set coming out.
The thing is, like, I like the way they dealt with Fox and just banning Griffin. So I think like that that worked.
What does that though? What could possibly do that for Sherry in the same way that Griffin
I'm thinking
did?
right now that like it's possible if they ban if they errata Sherry so that her ability isn't quick cast.
They're not going to errata.
Why not?
Errata's out of the question. We're talking about ban. Jeff has already said they are against errata.
The company is against errataing a card just to fix its functionality. They believe in errata to fix an error. Like, oh, that card should have said this, not that. Translation error. Errata it. They will not errata it.
Frame was
that was a Jordan push. Jordan pushed for that to happen.
But that's the only instance of it ever happening, and that was 100%
So
Jordan,
both Jeff and the company don't want to errata it.
Right. They both do not believe in that
then ban it. In my opinion, that's the only way. The only way to stop her is to mess with her engine, and that's the only way to mess with her engine that I think is an actual, legitimate way to do it. Like,
I agree. Like, I think both her and Prisha could have easily been fixed with an errata, but then, yeah, you get into the territory of should you errata or ban. I think Prisha could have been fixed with an errata. I think that she wasn't beyond saving with an errata, but if you're not going to errata, then you had to ban Prisha. And I think the same thing with Sherry. Sherry could easily be fixed with an errata, but sans an errata, I think we should just ban her at this point.
So, quick question, real quick. What happens if they just unban Prisha? This next class set comes out, and they're like, you know what? Instead of banning Sherry or some support, like, we're unbanning Prisha.
I think Prisha is still too strong. I think she might see some pushback from Kirik a little bit, but it'll be pushback in the sense that Kirik is in top 8. I don't think Kirik ever beats a Prisha for first place in a top 8.
Doesn't she rotate out anyways with the next cluster?
Well, yeah, I mean, this next cluster, a lot of stuff will rotate out.
Right. So like we unban her and then a set like the next set.
It's
or
just
the
a
set after this
question,
next
really.
one.
Just a question.
Just hypothetical.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think it's an argument of power levels is what Oscar's getting at.
Got it. I don't know. I feel like that could.
We've never had a silence like that before. We've done pretty good so far.
Like I think that it would fall into the territory we maybe used to have with I think it was like Hook, or it was Hook. It was like Fox and Prisha, and then like Dex can beat Fox, but they can't beat Prisha. So I don't know. We could get into some like 3-way tie between the three. But I mean, I don't know. Like, would Prisha? I don't know. It would maybe solve some things. I don't think Prisha could beat, like, if I don't know if Kirik can't beat Sherry. I don't know if Prisha could beat Sherry.
Prisha can beat Kirik for sure. Yeah, Prisha against Sherry. I think there's a way that Prisha could outpace Sherry, just like aggro her so hard that it just can't physically keep up.
I know.
But no, because I think Scarlet's Agony. Yeah, Scarlet's Agony hurts too much.
You can stop Prisha from doing her like double
her
swing
combo.
And,
yeah. I don't think Prisha wins against Sherry.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
But then again, at the same time though, Prisha was already red green, so she could have some really good support that could stop. That could be help her out against the Sherry deck.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, we have the new set coming out soon. The ban list should be announced, I think, this weekend, no? Because it's usually when the CR updates happen. It's before pre-release.
Yes, ban list should come out. Don't they usually come out same day as set release?
It's official the same day as set release, but they're announced ahead of time.
No, I mean like set previews. Today when the set is released today or Thursday.
No, it's usually by the weekend.
Weekend, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll post up.
Banned. It's official as of this date. Keep it in mind. Yeah.
I'll post. I mean, we'll cover it in the news. But if it's a big ban like Sherry, we'll post a video up right away as soon as the bans are active. If it's not a big ban, you can just prepare for a rant. On the following
and also the last little bit I was going to talk about was tonight. By the time the video is up, will be the full set release. So we'll be going over that together.
Yes. In the same, because as you guys see, there's not doing spoilers in video anymore, so we don't have spoiler videos. So we'll be doing a full video of the set release, going over cards that might be new, and as well as our overall thoughts and impressions. Are we going to do that whole thing there, or is it going to be just going over the set and we'll do our impressions the next week on next week's podcast?
We can do our impressions on next week's podcast. It's just when the full set comes out, let's just pick out the stuff that we hadn't seen and be like, oh, cool, look at that, it does this. No, that's neat.
Yeah.
Something like that real quick. Something short, not some super long spoiler video.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious, and I really hope they don't try and do something. I think this next set is going to balance out Sherry, so we'll wait and see to ban her for a couple more GPs. Because then that leaks to the GP we're going to, and I'm just not going to have fun then. I hate that every time we go to a GP, it's during the power. Well, I guess the CO doesn't count necessarily, but The last one was during the power spike, and then if this one's during a power spike, then I'm going to be super sad.
We were there during the Persia OTK power spike. I played against one Persia, and it wasn't OTK.
I played against so many Persia OTKs. I literally lost count of how many times I killed Persia rulers, and then they recovered and attacked me the next turn.
I played against a Yggdrasil deck during that time when that shouldn't have even been around. It was our final round match, and it was the old school Yggdrasil, not the dark Yggdrasil. So I was like,
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping we have some cool showings at the GP going, especially with the new set coming out and with possible bans. Mm-hmm. We're looking at what could be a really fun GP if they ban Sherry. And with the new set coming out, obviously the big player will probably be Keurig. Lumia could probably be another big player off the top of my head that I can think of. I'm sure there's another one.
She has some cards that could help make her a little bit better.
I think
Shayla might have a shot, I think.
My only worry is that if they ban Sherry, I think Keurig is going to run over everyone.
I think he has a chance to run over. I think if people are... and this is why I got in the argument with you. Keurig, people can plan around to counter. People couldn't do that with Sherry because you're planning to counter a deck that's whole design is meant to counter every deck in existence currently. And so Keurig isn't like that. Keurig is burning and doing stuff. He's super fast aggro, and he can also aggro, and he can also, especially with this next set coming out, he can control as well on top of aggro. So he's strong, but he is not uncounterable. You can easily main deck or side deck cards that can help you a lot with him. It won't straight up counter him. But he is I think he's more manageable. He's a more manageable level. I don't think he's going to steamroll off the bat.
I disagree, but if they do ban her, we'll see how it plays out.
It could be if they could do what they did before. What they did before is they banned Fair and they banned Hook, and the reason they banned Hook, I think, was to preemptively assuming that Lumia was going to. Did I say ban Fair?
Yeah, like what?
But when they banned Prisha. And they banned Griffin. They also banned Hook, and that was to preemptively, I think, prepare for Lumia potentially being the front runner, and Blinking Hook is just too strong, especially with how her deck was running at the time. And so we could see something similar where they are like, here's a Sherry ban, also here's a ban on this card and this card. That's Keurig's, ridiculously strong thing or something like that. Preemptive thing of like, we're going to assume Keurig's the next big one, so let's just nip that in the bud right now. And it worked perfectly for Lumia. Lumia showed up here and there, but she wasn't on the map as much as people thought.
Do you think Lumia with Hook would do anything against Sherry?
No, not with Lorite. I don't think so.
Do you think Fox with Griffin would do anything against Sherry?
Fox with Griffin might, just because he could stay on pace with her. And she's not running like Ultra Dragon or anything like that. I could be wrong. No, because Lorite's fucking one cost. So if they get that first Griffin racing across time, then that hurts Fox pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Or they could cancel Fox's ability itself. Yeah, no, Fox is gonna Sherry loses. Yeah, I hate Lorite also. I still hate Lorite, but Sherry. Even cards that aren't meant for Sherry, that were just green cards printed in general, are inside of Sherry decks that counter.
So if they ban Sherry, do you think they ban Lorite?
No, I don't think that. I think they think that Lorite's not strong, and I agree. I don't think Lorite's game breaking, but like I've said before, I think Lorite is just takes away the whole point of the game, which is being able to play the game. And so because of that, I dislike Lorite. But I don't. If they banned him, I'd be 100% for it. I know a lot of the community would be super mad about it, but I would be 100% for it. I don't think they would ever ban Lorite, though. I think
they. I do. I think that's part of the issue. I can see him going.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. I'd be if they banned Lorite and Sherry, like I'd be ridiculously happy because there's that, and then once we rotate, Severing Winds is gone as well. And I forget, there's another card. Farrah's gone. No, Farrah's not gone.
No.
But Farrah's around, but I don't think he's as big of a threat anymore. But especially with Sherry gone, he could potentially become huge, especially with Lorite being an elf and stuff, and new elves coming out. But Gil, I think, might start stealing the thunder soon here. So it sucks because I'm thinking of like, oh yeah, nip the butt off Kirik, and then back in my head I'm thinking of like, I think Gil has potential to be super strong, but you don't want to start nipping off too much. So there's nothing to go off of for Gil, just like there's nothing to go off of for Sherry because there's no gameplay with her.
I think if people perfected like a good Gil list, it would be way more annoying because they could like recycle in Lorites very easily.
Yeah,
So
Gil has potential to be abusive. Gil has a lot of potential to be too strong.
Mm-hmm.
So we're treading a lot of water. I don't know what the word is supposed to be there. What is it, Oscar? Treading. What are we treading?
Poop?
Shallow water.
I don't know either. But anyways, we'll see what happens. We only have like a week left, and we'll know all these.
Thin ice. We're treading on thin ice.
Yeah.
Your ice melted in your scenario.
There's a lot of decks that could break the ice
melted.
potentially that are like one card away from breaking the ice. There's a lot of potential decks like that. So that's nothing is close to Sherry level in my opinion, but there's a lot of decks that can just go and just plunge us right back into darkness. So
I hope for myself, I hope for the like at least it being interesting they ban Sherry, and then we'll just see just be
where
excited.
the cards fall.
That'd be fun.
And you'll see it happen in real time when we go to Collinsville. And I go there with either I won't spoil it, but you guys can guess what one of my front runners of a deck is going to be.
Pandas.
I'm deciding between 2 or 3 decks. Pandas.
I'm gonna see what the new set has to offer before I make a decision. We'll see.
I saw there was pandas in the new set, and that's all I needed.
Yeah. But before we do go here, we're going to go and wrap it up. I thought it was funny. It's completely sidetracking from Force of Will. On Facebook, we're in Star Wars Destiny group still. And I don't know if you noticed this, Colin, but somebody who was an admin switched it to naming it a Space Jam dedication group. And then like over the course of this podcast, it got switched back to the Destiny group. Everybody's like, did I hallucinate that? Is this really happening? What's going on? That's how it's hilarious.
Oh, that's amazing.
At least we aren't Star Wars Destiny, right, guys?
There you go. Which in our area died out as well. Nobody really plays it anymore.
I give that a good year or 2 left in Star Wars Destiny before. Not that it'll die, but I think the company will stop it.
Yeah.
In the same way that Kaijudo did.
We were able to pick up a box for $30 for the first set, which is pretty cool. Just to open it up.
Yeah.
Pull a Darth Vader.
Go. You just got to go sell like 1 or 2 cards and you made your money back.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks you guys for listening. We're going to go do the mini Patreon podcast over for patreon.com/TCGrubs. And we'll see you guys in 1 week. Or we'll see you guys tonight for the full set. I guess we're waving our hands. And
High five me. Ready? Not talking to you, Colin. I'm talking to our viewers. Get out of here.